What's going on, traders, and welcome to my stream. Right now I'm streaming and we actually turned on the bandwidth so you guys can talk about. Anyway, so same old. Let me turn on the light real quick. I forget everything. There we go. So now you can see me much better. So this week has been pretty normal. We had like the last 2 weeks. I mean, a month ago we had like Aki, and after Aki, which went up 1,000%, there were like 200% gappers. They were just gapping up and selling off, and there were like so many, like one after the next after the next. I think it was 5 days back to back where 200% or 150% were just go running up in the pre-market and just selling off. And as soon as they hit like 200%, they were selling off. So that trend started with PWM. I think on Thursday, PWM went from like $6 to like $30. No, it was $3, $6 to $30. And right now, we have had that on Wednesday. So today I'm up 17,800, shorting RXRX, which was number one stock that I shorted. And there was another opportunity that I could have shorted. I didn't take advantage of that short, but we're gonna talk all about it after this video and then more. So there were two shorts and one long. All right, so here we got the numbers here. Hopefully we got the numbers right. Here we go. A little bit to my left. There we go. There we are. So the main mover today was RXRX. The RXRX was pretty much the star of the show, and this ticker was pretty much up. I don't know. This ticker was up like 300, 200%, and I don't know if it had like an investment with Nvidia, and pretty much sold off. So my short on RXRX, I think it was my short was around 1678, and my covers were like 1125. So I made on the downside. I made on the downside, I think $4. Is it $5 a share? I made $5 a share, which was a 30% gain on the downside. I hold my shorts a lot longer than I do hold my longs, just because I'm a scared little baby, and I've always been a scared little baby holding them long. It's something personal, and then you know, it's just, I don't know, something personal, I think. So I am much more comfortable holding like all day short. I'm very comfortable because there's so many. After a stock gaps up 200%, there's so many uncertainties that could show up at your doorstep because it happens so rare. And I mean, we're gonna talk about that one. Obviously, that is the main mover, and we had HCTI, which a bunch of traders pretty much traded it long, in the chat room and made a bunch of money. So we're gonna talk about that ones, and so pretty much, you can see so here that RXRX, my entry price was 1583, and I covered my last bid. I didn't get a screenshot of it, but I had a good to cancel order at 1185, and that was pretty much filled. So this is RXRX, as you can see. So here, RXRX. This is a very simple daily breakout of 14.8, 14.8, and we gapped up to like 16, and this is like a gap up short. Same thing. Very, very much simple. I mean, just because a lot of people think that just because it has Nvidia next to it, and it has a 50 million investment, is gonna go up to the moon. Like I say, it's very hard. You have to understand, for a stock to go up 200%, for a stock to go up 100%, you need the market cap, I believe, to have the same amount of dollar volume. So the market cap multiplied by the float or something like that. The point is, it's like the higher the float, the harder it is for it to go up 100%. That's why Google, Amazon, actually Apple only move like 1 or 2% a day, and the S&P moves 0.5% because the stock is so freaking thick that it cannot go up. You know, there's so many shares and so many people and Facebook that so stock cannot go up, you know, like more than 100%. It's very hard for a stock to go up 100%. Can the S&P 500 go up 100% in a day? No, because it's made up of 500 companies. Same thing with this ticker. This ticker, I think if I were going to pull up the float here, I'll show you the float on it because a lot of people have a difference. Like this is the float. So you can see here that the float is 120 million float. That is a humongous float. That is like a giga float. So when you see a giga float that is gapping up 200%, I mean, if it's not holding trend, it's like a gift for the short seller, because you can pretty much borrow this stock at any brokerage. I think every single brokerage out there has this stock to short, because it has so many shares. So the stock pretty much, we went straight up. I didn't even see it on my pre-market scanner, because my scanner doesn't even allow me to see stocks over 30 million or 40 million or 50 million flow, whatever I put in it. So we went all the way up to 1858, and we have a lower high there. That is actually, so we pushed till 1890, a low, a high, a lower low, no, a higher high, a high, a low, and this is kind of like a lower low. That's probably where the lower low. That's a low, and that's a lower low. That's kind of it. So we had this downtrend developing here, very simple. So we were kind of basing around the 16 mark, uptrending pattern. So I mean, I really hope I'm gonna be better at buying them. If you have your scanner out, I didn't even see this thing on my scanner. I had the chat room put this ticker on my scanner because I was looking and I was like, holy crap. So this ticker, I ended up shorting it, like I say, like an average price of 1580, risking off like 16ish. And to me, it was like you know, a very, I mean, if you look at the weekly of RXRX, I mean, the weekly, I can't really, should I pull up the weekly? Let me see. RXRX, hold on, let me pull up the weekly. I'll pull up the weekly just quick so you guys can see what I'm seeing. Like the RXRX weekly. Let me pull up the weekly. Like the weekly, you know, you got resistance at 17, resistance at 21. So initially, I thought that we're just gonna go to, like, you know, we broke 17.5 and we're gonna go to 20. So I had like a long idea to pretty much go long on it. So that's what I thought. I thought, hey, we might as well go to the moon. It's 120 million float. Forget it. Nvidia is there. We have 50 million contract. The moon is the direction. I was like, fuck it, buy. So I initially did buy, and then I lost. And then I was like, well, it's not going up. And then I flipped short. And then I was like, well, this makes more sense now. Everything came back to reality. Let's not. I do this a couple times. Like, I get over excited about the momentum and about the news, and then I see it make lower lows and lower highs. Actually, lower lows and lower highs, which technically it was lower low and lower highs. Let me see if I can. Where's the lower? Technically, where did it do a lower low and lower high? Actually, that's a low, that's a low, that's a high, that's a high, that's a low. So this is like a support line wedge. So this is like a wedge pattern. So right here it did a lower low and a much lower low. That's when you know it's time to say good bye-bye. So that's a high, that's a low, that's a lower high. And this is actually right here, it's a lower low. And this is a lower high. So you can see here that we are bouncing. So I knew that once we saw the lower low, which was over here, I just, you know, I got a starter around like 16-ish, and then I add it, And next thing you know, I just held on, and then I covered into the 15. It was a very boring day, and then we just crashed. It was very normal and very boring and and that was the trade. I wish it was less boring than it actually was, but that's what it was. So I ended up covering like 3/4 there at 11:20. I actually covered 3/4 there, and let's see if I can. There we go. I covered 3/4 there at 11:25, and actually I thought it was gonna go much lower. And soon enough, I did cover 3/4 at 11:25, and I left another order which was 11:85, and that was covered in the aftermarket. So that was that one ticker. So, don't tell me that don't tell me, oh, I don't have a brokerage. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't make money in the markets. So don't come over to my house or my place or my residence or my YouTube channel or my chat room or sometimes haunting me, telling me, hey, I just can't make money in the market. No, you just are not doing the right thing. So we got HCTI here. HCTI, I mean, that's the only ticker. I think I was live streaming about this ticker in the morning, and I was like, hey, this is the ticker that's going to go, because this was a very 2 milli float right there. So we were watching, I was watching this whole price action, how HCTI just went up all the way to 950, and we just got into this wedge pattern formation and this clear downtrend. And guess what? What happens when it breaks the downtrend? Downtrend, and the bell rang. We went from like 6. We broke the downtrend. That was the buy point, which I messed up completely. And then we just spike all the way to 11. That was your buy point. When the downtrend coincides with VWAP, that is like a big inflection point for this stock. Because everybody was watching one ticker. This was the only ticker on my scanner that was moving, in my midday scanner, because I had all the other tickers for the day that were moving. So everybody focused on one ticker, which was 2 milli float. Is it 2 milli float? No, yes it is. It's a 1.5 milli float. So everybody just homed in on one ticker, and they piled in. I don't know if you want to look at these candles here. They piled in their, how much volume was here? 400K per 1 minute. And at one point, we put in like, how much did we put in this candle? There were so many buys and so many covers. 800K per 1 minute. That's a lot of money. 800K per 1 minute candle. That is like $8 million. $8 million. That's $8 million going to the freaking stock in 1 minute. That is how much this thing is. And soon enough, we just fly up to 11. Really insane price action. I managed to make, how much did I manage to make? Let me see how much I managed to make. HCTI. I managed to make HCTI. I was buying it at like 777, 780. I made like 10%, which was retarded, and I made 4K on that trade. And I was trying to buy market right here, and 4,000 at market, and it was not getting filled. I was like, you piece of crap. You piece of crap. You piece of crap. I was trying to buy market as soon as we broke that VWAP and that trend line there. And because I was risking over this low. I mean, in this candle right here, we just broke VWAP, which was 512, and we ripped up to 780. And we, in this candle, I think they were ping ponging it between 7. Let me see the low of that candle. 705 up to 780. They were ping ponging like 7 times. It was like going from like, I don't know if I get the live stream out. It was just 780, 720, 740, 710, and 770 and 7. It was just in 1 minute. It moved like, it was going like this. So. And then eventually I had my big push and I took my 10% and I was like, forget this, I'm out. So, and I mean, it was a little bit heart palpitations over here because I was just risking off the support line. I thought it was going to reject 9 and then soon enough, it actually blew through 11, blew through 9. And the reason it blew through 9 is because all the traders focused on one ticker this morning, which was ACTI. And it rotated like 29 times. The volume came in 29 times. So that was a fun time trading HCTI. The other tickers that I did trade was ARDS. If I were gonna pull ARDS was, I mean, it wasn't that really that exciting. It just came into my radar this morning, and we just popped up. We had news. What was the news? I don't really know. Rise FDA product designation. So I saw this whole candle thing. I think I got in at like 36 eventually in this candle. I'm telling you, there's so much money on the table. I mean, I mean, right here, you had a 200K volume right there. So initially we had a 100K volume bar, then a 200K volume bar, and you had a nice textbook daily breakout of 26, 36. And so now it went to 50 in like 2, 3, 5 candles. I ended up selling it. Where did I end up selling it? Because I don't really remember. ARDS. I ended up selling it at like, I bought it at like 39 and 37. Terrible fills. I got out at like, I bought it at 37 and 42. And then I sold it at like 45. I made like nothing, 500 bucks. That was just nothing. Nowhere near enough for the for the 30K in in volume that for 30K that I put. Nowhere near enough. Just look at my trades at going long. This is my trades going long. I buy it over here at 39, 37. It's just, and then I sell it at like 44, and then I thought it's gonna go higher. So I sat through this thing. I like to buy and I like to hold for like longer periods of time. So I buy it at like 40. It went like to like 52. I'm up 20%, and I'm like, hello, take profit. And it's just a problem with me taking profit. I have problems taking profit. So I left because I see the reason I have problems taking profit going long is because I hold my shorts for like the whole day. Because I'm like, it's up 200%. What can possibly happen more exciting than that? And there's nothing, and they all tank. So I have problems taking in 20% long, and this is where you can exceed. You can make more than I do, that's for sure. So the next ticker was ELOX and PBTS. We're gonna talk about ELOX, and PBTX. Actually, ELOX was a stupid trade, as you can see. So here, I was trying to buy it when we had day 2 continuation. Was a day 2 continuation. So right here we had we were breaking 10, and I was like thinking like, well, if we break 10, we're gonna break 10, 50, 11, and so forth. And we broke 10. I was buying it at 10. We went to 10.50, and then we had this. I mean, we should have held at one point. So we went under 10, and I was like, forget it, I'm out. So that was my ELOX trade. I don't know if I have my ELOX trade somewhere here, and that was a loss. And I do have losses, and my losses involve chasing this. This is where my losses come. I'll show you. Like, this is where my losses come from, and I don't know how I'm going to fix it, because it not only happened to me once, it happened to me a couple times in my trading, in which I look at these candles and I see the news, and I'm very excited about the news, and it goes from 45 to like 56 in like 1 minute candle, and then I buy the top, and then it doesn't continue. Like, the volume does not continue. So if I see like 20% candles like this with no continuation, it's very hard for me to, it's very hard for me to, I mean, I buy it and then it flops on me and then I'm dead. So, I mean, these things happen. These things happen, and I don't really know how to fix it, because when we're in a hot market, you want to buy everything that comes onto your pre-market scanner, because so many stocks work. So I'm not really sure why did this one not continue on higher, because it did have news. Let me see. It had news that it partners with something. Power bank subsidiary partners with client to integrate AI engineering, reading leverage app, and ChatGPT. So I was like, cool, ChatGPT. First green day bounce, we break 50, and we hit 56, and that's it. The volume just died off. We flopped underneath VWAP, and there's not much you can do. It's just a loss. And I was buying it at the high of the day, and it dumped it with me in it. Yes. I have 2K losses like this, but I do have 2K wins like this. So, uh, it's not really funny to tell you the truth to take that loss because it's not fun. But you know, I manage my size. I only use 30K. I think I used 30K. Did I use 30K on it? Yes, I used 30K, and I got out at 51. I got in like at 56, and I got out at 51. So this is I have problems. I have problems. And we had a couple of midday like there's PBTS went absolutely to the crapper. First Green Day bounce failed. So, I mean, and then we had another opportunity here, a ULT for a potential short, which was a really nice short to tell you the truth. And not only a long, but also a short. As you can see, so here in the morning at 7, which I try to be up at 7 every day, and sometimes I'm up at 7:30, and I do miss these movers that go from 4 to like 9, and it's ridiculous because that's a lot of money on the table for me to make from 4 to 9. You get that with 1,000 shares. I mean, that's very easy money, and sadly, you have to be up at 7, and you have to watch my scanner. You have to be in the chat room, and you have to, and you have to be rested, and you have to hit the right button and watch the right stock to take advantage of AULT. And after that, I think AULT pretty much died. AULT, there it is. AULT pretty much died. So this is another opportunity for a gap up short area. I mean, this was a first, this is a first Green Day bounce pattern. I mean, you have pretty much a death, some sort of news, and we just ripped up. We had a dip buy, and actually, I'm not sure if you're gonna buy this, but after I don't know if you're gonna buy this. I mean, technically, you can buy this over here. Technically, say you wake up at 6:50 and you're just hanging out and you see a high of the daybreak of 480 and you buy it. That's not bad. Risking off 450, say 1,000, 2,000 shares, you're risking $200-300, and then next thing you know, it pretty much goes to 7. So say you capitalize on this move, and then say you buy this downtrend break over here. Say you buy it at like, I don't know, 660, 670 with like, a 630 stop, and soon enough it goes to 9. That's nice. You're risking like 30 cents to make like $2. That's a really nice risk reward. And soon enough after that, we just flopped. So it was just a good opportunity to go short, because that looks like a freaking short. I didn't short this one. Should have shorted this one. There were 3 opportunities to short today. There was this ticker that I did not trade at all, and then after that, it was just this roller coaster, 8 to 9 and back to 4. Crazy roller coaster. Pretty much didn't trade at all, but you can see the volatility and how much money you can make, and that is kind of it. We had some interesting movers. If I had to, we had ARDS here, I believe. ARDS. I did talk about ARDS not taking profit when I'm up 20%, but mostly my fault here is PBTS, chasing things that spike 20% and then getting like stopped out into the big flushes. It's not fun. It's very damaging, especially to my fragile ego. Especially to my fragile ego after we've been in this bear market, that we're now in a very hot market. Anyway, that is all I had to say. Hopefully, I did the best. I came out on top. It was very interesting, and I did. It was very fun to trade these tickers, and hope you guys enjoyed it. That is those were the tickers of the day. Not much else. If I look at my midday scanner, I mean RXRX was the main star of the show that was gapping up hugely. Then we had PTPI. I don't think I traded. Did I trade PTPI? I did trade PTPI, and I did trade, is it HCTI? I don't know what those were. Anyway, those are the tickers that I did trade today. We're gonna see what other tickers. What did I trade PTPI? I don't know. I didn't. I trade HCTI, not PTPI. So HCTI PTPI. There? There it is. Another freaking mover in the middle of the day. So there was one mover in the middle of the day that I did not trade because, I mean, it's impossible to trade these movers. But you can see how PTPI, we just ripped in the middle of the day here. We broke the threes and we are up in the fives. Very nice price action in PTPI. I didn't trade PTPI, but those were like the movers of the day. Plenty of opportunity. I think at one point, the chat was like, "These are too many tickers to be trading." And you know, you gotta capitalize on the ones that you think you have an edge. The ones that I do think I have an edge is the gap up shorts and waking up at 7 and trying to buy them on the way up and shorting them when they come back down. That's where I have make the most amount of money between, you know, 6:30 if I'm awake at 6:30, or I try to be awake as much as possible at 6:30. But you know, I do you know, I'm already tired enough from the markets because I trade I watch the market even after 11 or 12. I do watch the markets from my phone or from my laptop, trying to see all this midday opportunity. But we had one midday opportunity today, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow, just the same old, same old. Waking up early in the morning and you know, taking advantage of this market. This market has been really hot, and yeah, making a lot of money. It's a fun time trading when you're making a lot of money, and yeah, hopefully this momentum continues for another day, 2 3, maybe a couple of weeks, and you know, blocking it all up and not giving any of it back because I don't want to give any money back. Hope you guys enjoyed the live stream because I actually increased my bandwidth of my sound, so my sound is like ultra high def, and my you know, how you see me right now is very clear 4K with all these lights coming into my face, so you can see clearly that I do need a haircut, and my hair is longer than it is, and it shouldn't be so long, just for the fact that, you know, I've been making so much money. I should be able to afford a haircut. Nevertheless, maybe a nap. That's a good one. A nap to lose more pounds and be more fit. But this is a very desk related job that requires me way too much sitting time, that actually I did buy a stand up desk to lift up this desk because it's just been a little bit too much on my, you know, on my rear rear sitting all this time. And other than that, see y'all tomorrow. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and see you all tomorrow in my live chat room. I had a couple questions. What are some good brokerages? The short Trade Zero is pretty good if you're, especially if you're international. And though that allows you to do 6 to 1. You know, for the 100 milli float, I think all brokerages allow you to short, to borrow shares. But for those hard to borrow stocks, you will need like a 30K account for like Centerpoint or like maybe Cobra or Interactive Brokers. But it's very tough, you know. But you should all have a Trade Zero account because that's probably the best one right now for small accounts, internationally and American, to get these borrows, because it's just a lot of money just sitting on the table. To shorting and going long if you're awake with the scanners and you're managing your risk right and you have your speed keys and you're in the chat room, of course. Other than that, you guys have a good one and see y'all in my next video. Peace out.